Good morning. It's Monday morning, June 27th, 2022, 9 a.m. on the Pacific coast of California. And this is Windows Daily number 4. Did I number those right? Yeah, I did. I think this is 4, right? Yeah. And Disktective number 1. I'm going to come back to Task Manager, but I'm taking a little diversion here because there's a topical thing that came up on the Ken Stout Live channel last night that I don't think I've ever talked about. This utility, my favorite utility for dealing with disk space issues, where suddenly, over days or weeks, whatever, you have very little free drive space, and you expected that you should have a lot more. It can take a lot of time to go poking around trying to find where it is. The basic utilities for cleaning up system files and stuff like that typically aren't going to make a whole lot of progress. So I want to find out quick and efficiently what's taking up all the space, what happened basically. Before I go into that, I'm going to go catch up with responses to questions that were in chat or subjects brought up in chat or comments on the video. So I'm going to punch over here to a Microsoft Word document. These ones that I've marked in green, I already addressed those. So here's things that came from chat from yesterday. Catherine Anna Hauserman asked, which NVMe did I test? The Big Beast build only has one NVMe drive, and this is what it is right here. It's an 8 terabyte drive. I have it partitioned into a C drive and some other drives. So what were they? It's C drive and F drive, and yeah, the L drive is a spinning disk. Anyway, oh, the M drive I think is the other one. And then DDT 2005, which is Dennis. I think in response to I think I made a comment in that video about encode decode that I wasn't fully up to speed on that, but I do know this much. He points out that it's when software asks the graphic card to use one of these, OBS, XSplit, need to have encoded video to stream to it. And I'll go a little bit further with that. Encode decode means you're basically going to take information and then code it, make it a code, not in this case for encryption, but for a different file type. Like perhaps we have, or you know that we have video files of MP4 or MOV or WMV. Those are different video types, so that is a different kind of coding. When we live stream to YouTube or whatever platform it might be, they store their video files most likely in a proprietary format. There's lots of different proprietary formats that never even get to our Windows computers. So encoding is a process of packaging it up to send it to the other computer. On YouTube side, they might encode it so that it comes to the form that we're using on our side. Decoding, when I'm receiving a file, my computer has to decode that into the form that my computer is able to play. So that's the little bit more that I know about it. But I know that it's a very, very complicated area, and that the video software that I have used have had options to have my video graphics card do more of that encoding, decoding work, or allow the CPU to do more of that. And I've found the advice says that if you're having trouble with your whatever video software that you're using, then change the configuration so that your CPU is doing more of that work. So anyway, moving on. Alias Tepe says CPU times can be updates via Microsoft, and that was in response to over here when I was pointing out that in this app history panel, these apps that I never use are taking a CPU time, and I think he's correct in pointing out that that's probably them updating from the Microsoft Store. And then my last comment here is actually a comment from from the Saturday show. Chris McGraw says Task Manager options. He likes always show and disable minimize at startup. So I went to look at that. I thought, oh hush, oh hush up. Somehow the SIRI device woke up. What did I say on there that would have done that? I don't know. So I went and looked at that and I thought, well, what are you referring to there, Chris? So I didn't quite get it, but he's saying options and then always show and disable. Always show, there's always on top. That's not always show. What that does is that makes Task Manager always be on top of another window. Like for instance, if I click on the CPU-Z window, I can't make it come on top of Task Manager. Task Manager stays on top. If I remove that check mark, then I can bring another window on top. So I'm not quite sure what he's referring to there. If you can, Chris, clarify that further, Chris, I would be interested. And disable minimize at startup. And I didn't quite see that also because on options, there is minimize on use, which implies to me when you open it, you want it to be minimized. Well, that's not happening. I have that check mark there. When I open it, it just comes up in this windowed view. So I'm curious because Chris is saying that he always does that, and I'm not understanding that technique. Other subjects, load free disk space. I already mentioned when I first wrote this in here, I wasn't really planning to make today's session about that, but I'm going to. And then also want to say here's a response to me upgrading the Baby Beast to Windows 11 this weekend. I found a very substantial nuisance to me is when I'm using my LogMe and Rescue, which is what I use to connect remotely to client computers. I need to be able to copy and paste between my notes for their computer and to their computer back and forth. It does not work at all. So I don't know what's going on there yet. And then also I had the blue screen of death on Baby Beast this morning. That's the first blue screen of death that I've ever had on Baby Beast. Now, for today's subject, Disktective. I have found many times client calls me saying they're low on disk space, and I used to, maybe still sometimes, I'll go poking around trying to find what's taking up all the space manually, and almost without exception I wind up kicking myself. I should have gone straight to Disktective. This does it so much faster, and I do not bother with going to clean up Windows system files and all that, because if you use that to free up enough space for you to operate, it's just going to get cluttered again. And when I'm charging my client by the hour to do this, it does not make sense. If that's what it takes to keep the disk limping along, we just need to replace it. So I don't even bother with that at all, ever. For my clients' computers. Not to say that you shouldn't for your own computers. So what I use is this utility called Disktective. So I'm going to bring it up. I already ran it this morning on the Big Beast build because I knew it was going to take a while for it to run. So here I have it on my monitor number 3, pushing the wrong button there. I ran it. It took about 3 minutes for it to completely evaluate the C drive of the Big Beast build. On a client's computer, if it's full, and especially like if it's a 1 terabyte drive and it's full up, or even if it's a 200 gigabyte drive and it is running out of space, I'll start Disktective at the end of my client's workday, and sometimes let it run overnight. If it's a server with a lot of space, I'll run that overnight. Just taking a quick look at chat, because as far as I know, I'm not even coming over, right? And just taking, yeah, okay, I checked the audio, it is there. I'm not interacting with chat during this live stream. You know that I'm trying to keep these short. So this took 3 minutes to run, not too long ago at all. On a server, I definitely let it run overnight. Sometimes a workstation, I'll let it run overnight. I didn't want to click on anything here before starting the live stream because I want to show you what to do, because this isn't very useful right here. It's showing you how much space is occupied in these different folders. But what we want to do is sort this display by size, but I'm not going to click on by size. This is a little tricky. By reverse size, because I want the largest items at the top. So I click on that, and then that will conduct a sorting there, and that could take a little while to do. So while that's running, I'm going to go show, while it's trying to sort, I'm going to come over here to Google on monitor number 1 and show here's where to find it. Search in Google for Disktective. You're not going to find a Disktective website. You might be fooled into thinking this one that has Disktective in the name of the website, but no, that's softonic.com. There's probably some others down here. Disktective, that's informer.com. You're not going to get to the manufacturer's website. I like downloading it from CNET. So I'll right click and open in a new tab. You don't have to do that. You could just click on it to show what it looks like. I have the extension uBlock Origin on here, so we're not seeing all their advertising. I'm going to show that. There is a little bit of advertising still here though. And then you click download now, and they're not trying to trick you with any advertising here. This is the right one. You click download now. This is a portable program, meaning you don't have to install it. So that's why that's one of the reasons why I really like it. So I'm showing it in folder right here, and I've already extracted it once. I'll right click and extract all, and I'm just going to let it go into that folder. If you're managing the files on your computer better, you'll probably put that somewhere else. I do put it in a different location, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm showing it there. And then here is that Disktech 1. Here's the executable. You just double click it to launch it. There's a license and readme test. You don't need to do anything with that. I'm going to do the similar operation on Baby Beast. So here I've got Baby Beast up on screen. Hopefully it's not going to blue screen while we're doing this. By the way, when it blue screened on me this morning, I did have 3 video tabs running while Dennis, DDT 2005, and I were live streaming our Fortnite play. I had my YouTube live stream and my Twitch live stream and my Facebook live stream all running on different tabs, and a 4th one, his YouTube live stream. So that was a workload on Baby Beast when it blue screened during that session this morning. Fortunately, it didn't interrupt our live stream of our gameplay because that was on Big Beast. So then here's cnet.com. What I wanted to do here is I'll just do a left click on that, and I'm going to disable uBlock Origin just so that you see how much advertising there is. It's not too bad on them. I'll turn off uBlock Origin and then close this extensions page, and then come back. I'll use the back button to go back to Google, and then click on the download again and turn off my picture-in-picture. And here you see how there's some advertising up there. There's some advertising here. If we scroll down, it's really a pretty clean site. So that's just why I lean towards CNET when I can. Now, let's go back and see if Disktective is finished with that sort operation. There it is. Bring that up. Yes, it is. So what it will do is it'll show the... Do I have that right? No, I don't. Wrong button. There it is. Disktective is sorted. Here's the largest amount of space is in the users folder, and then the next largest. So this is all showing me the root level folders, and I can go drill down in any of these. So I'll click on the plus sign, and this is showing me the Doug folder. Okay, such a Doug. Yes, that is the most occupied folder. Click on that to drill down, and this is a way to find what is taking up this massive amount of space. All of a sudden, I don't have any free space on my drive. And this is a way, the most convenient, quickest, efficient way that I find to go find something that you can do to dump a whole lot of stuff. And surprise, surprise, here I have Bob Carlson. He was the subject of one of my live stream shows where I did some work on his computer. And I apparently have perhaps a copy of his full drive in here. My book files. Oh yes, he had an external drive so I've got 97 gigabytes on my computer occupied with his stuff. So I'm going to get rid of that. So there's 14 minutes. I think it's time to shut this down. I'm going to do a quick display of what's in the chat room. I'm not going to read through it now. I'll be responding to chat room comments tomorrow, and comments that are made on this video I'll be responding to, and anything other that's pertinent. And Rick Lakes did a $10 super chat this morning. before this show began. That looks like mostly hellos between each other. So then here's my email. If you want to send me an email, if you got some kind of a technical question or something, very likely I'll respond to it in the next Windows Daily session. So thank you for checking in this morning. That's all for today. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.